Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about Google Calendar. So what we're going to step through today is obviously how to navigate to it. Then there's a few settings that you should look at and change because the defaults don't quite match what we're after, and you can tweak it a little bit. And then I'm going to start showing you a few things about shared calendars. We've just set up a shared calendar and I'd like to show you how to use it. And also with the intention that we will no doubt be using probably Insightly, but regardless, we'll be using a CRM, which will probably link its calendar into your Gmail as well. So I wanted to go through and give you a bit of an in-depth tour of how to use Google Calendar, and I think you'll really like it. Now, some of the differences about Google Calendar against Outlook. Outlook can handle multiple calendars as well, but I've never really liked the way it did it. It's instead of putting them on top of each other, you end up with split screen. So for example, in this scenario, we've got 3 calendars. You'll have one in the corner, one in the other corner, one in the bottom corner, and then a blank spot. If it was 4, they take up a quarter of the space each, and you've actually got 4 calendars that you have to look at. It's not very elegant. What Google's done is they've actually overlaid the calendars, which is sensational. So it's like a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer. And the real advantage in that is that, for example, in the company calendar, we can mark that an expo is going to be at this date. Then in your personal calendar, if you've got tasks assigned to that expo, in your personal calendar, you can mark events that you have to do for that expo in your personal one. And because they're layered on top of layer, you get to see both. You get to see the expo that's been done on your behalf, and then you get to see all your little tasks, and everyone else doesn't have to see your little tasks. So you've got the best of both worlds there. Then add to the fact that your CRM, you can push all your tasks into your CRM. You've got a really good overlay of everything going on, and you can easily see things that may conflict with you personally and the company. So without going much further, let's get into it. So I'll just get out of this so we're right back to the start. Okay, so once again, I'm going to be using the Chrome interface because it works better with Google, but any browser will work. So Safari, Firefox, IE, they're all the same. The advantage Chrome has is I can go up to here in my little apps button, and there's my Gmail, there's my calendar, there's my Google Drive. It's all sitting there nice and easy for me. Of course, you can do that with bookmarks as well in any of the other browsers, but I just like this way. So I could just easily click to calendar there and I'd get there, but I'm going to show you the other way, which would work for all the other browsers. So probably the quickest way, or the right from the start way, would be to type in Gmail into Google and mail.google. That's what you want. Now at this point, guys, if you're using the other browsers or you're not using that apps page or you're not too sure, bookmark this or favorites it so you can easily get to it all the time. Okay, to get to the calendar from here, we've got this little grid over here these days, and if you click on that, it'll give you all the other things that come with our Google Apps for Business bundle, and there's calendar. So I'll just click on that. And again, if it makes life easy for you, bookmark it. And just while I'm on that, in Chrome, to bookmark, all you do is hit your little star. I'm going to put it in the bookmarks bar and I'll call it calendar, and I'll make sure I spell it right. Okay, doesn't look like it did anything, but if I go to a new tab, there's calendar. All right, and while we're there, you can right click and you can add folders, so you can organize your Google stuff in there and you can drag stuff in, and when you click on a favorite, you can choose bookmarks bar, or you can go in the drop down box to those folders you've just created. So right click, add folder. All right, anyway, we're back here. We're back at the calendar. Now I'll go in to the settings and show you some of the things that you can modify. Settings, just click here, settings. There's some different displays you can play with here, but settings is where we're at. All right, I believe the default is English USA, which will do the date backwards as far as we're concerned. It starts with month, day, then year, so change that to English UK. Choose your country if you need to. Choose your time zone. Okay, very important as well. You guys will be doing stuff in Queensland, but because my time zone is set to Adelaide, it automatically adjusts everything for me, which is very handy. And you can put additional time zones if you wanted to, but Yeah, wouldn't clutter that. Date format, you can choose the date format. I like that one. Time. I prefer the 12-hour clock rather than 24. Typical length of meeting, just leave that as. Start your day, yeah, Monday's fine. You can choose to show your Saturdays and Sundays if you want to. I do, because I do tend to work a lot on weekends. But if you're not, you can untick those by just putting your work hours in here. Moving on quickly, show weekends as well. Default view, it defaults with, I think, the week or the day. I quite like the month. The month gives me, if I go to calendar, there's not a lot in this calendar for me. Oh, that's handy. There's not a lot in this calendar for me, but it gives you the time and everything. And of course, you just choose your format there. But I like to see the overview of the month before when I first hop in. But that's your choice. Location. Type in your location and then type in you'd like to see the weather in degrees Celsius. It's not much, but you'll get a little forecast for the couple of days coming and stuff like that. It's very cool as well if you're using the mobile version as well, because it will actually tell you about the weather in the where you're going and stuff like that. So quite handy. Display events. We'll just brush through some of this stuff. I don't want to bore you. Okay, so that's the essentials. Change that, make sure that's right. So those are critical. I'd say those top 5 are critical. And then default view, if you like month like myself, or you can change that to whatever you like. Put your location in, may as well see the weather. And I think the rest of it's all just your own personal choice, but just have a read of them. So I'll save that now, and that's it. Okay, now I am going to borrow Linda's account because she's graciously become my test for this one. So what I've done is I've created what's called the APRS company calendar, and it's a company-based calendar. Myself, Sam, Garth, and possibly I think Linda will be able to input stuff in there, and the rest of you can see what's going on. And it's going to be kept fairly simple, but it will be for people who are on annual leave. We'll put leave in, we can put expos in, and any other key data that should be company knowledge. Yeah, so I'll just load up Linda's. I'll drag it over to here. So what I did was I invited Linda today. So inside Linda's email, and I asked, and this is the key here, load it up inside the Gmail account. You'll see it come through on your Outlook, but actually go into Gmail when you get my invite, and you'll see Graham at APRS has shared this calendar with you. Load up Gmail. If you do it in Outlook, I'm not quite sure how it will react, but if you do it in Gmail, things are going to happen nicely. So I'll just close that. So this is it, and it's saying that we've invited you to company calendar. View the calendar. Click that. Okay. Now what that's done is down here you've got your calendars. So you've got my calendar. This is Linda's personal calendar. This is the tasks. So if you were using Google Tasks, and I'll cross that another time, but you can have your Google Tasks there as well. There's the APRS calendar. So in other calendars, we've got the APRS company calendar. Because you've just clicked that link, show me the calendar, it was already there, but it's automatically shown it. Now, if you want to add or remove your calendars, and I'm just going to put Linda's into maybe week mode. Okay, all right. So we've got all these calendars, and they're just overlaid on each other. If I was to untick the little green square, you'll see that my test entry and my home time, which was another test entry, have disappeared. Bring them back. Beautiful. Let's get rid of Linda's calendar. Linda's calendar's gone. Contacts. I think if we all went and put our birth dates in our profiles, all our birthdays would show up. Holidays in Australia is a good one. If I go to monthly, Australia Day, and Labor Day, all that sort of stuff. Okay. So holidays in Australia. Now, if you don't have holidays in Australia in all these, you can go browse interesting calendars. Okay. We'll just have a quick look in there. So you've got all of the holidays around all the world in there. So you just click subscribe if you want them. So we've got Linda's already subscribed to the Australian holidays. That's what we're seeing. If you're a sports nut, there's some sports ones for you. More, I've got the phases of the moon. I don't actually know why, but I did. Oh, star dates. Cool. Might have to put that one on. And contacts events. That's okay. So I think that's if all of your contacts in your contacts, which carries across to Outlook as well. Contacts in Outlook will marry up to this. There's a date of birth field in there. If you put that date of birth in, that's going to actually show their date of birth in there. Now that might be handy for some of you who have a good relationship with your clients and you might know their birthday. Chuck it into their contact and then your calendar will let you know when it's their birthday. And you might just be able to send them a happy birthday email, just nice to make contact without actually trying to sell them something for a change. So yes, that's all the other calendars that are there. Okay. You can request to see another co-worker's calendar as well, but we won't worry about that at the moment. I'll just hide that. Okay. So because of that click, it automatically turned on the company calendar. If you'd have gone about it and just gone straight into calendar and you hadn't had that tick, it would be present because we've invited you, but it would have been by default turned off because that link really says, yes, I want to see it. All right, so if you see any of these calendars and they're blanked out there, you're not seeing them at that time. So just click that. All right, and up they come. Now, that is just a default color. If you go here, you can choose whatever color you'd like it to show. Okay, and then if you've got a little bit of a conflict of colors, you can go through and you can modify your colors to however you like. So it's a very simple system. While I'm in here, to start using Google Calendar, create. Now, if you do the little drop down, it's a quick add, and you can just put a line in, and it will put a line in, and it will work. It's fine. But create does give you a lot more functionality. So I'm going to just put in here another test. Okay. Still got the date backwards. I might have to. It may not have refreshed yet. Regardless, so let's put Monday at 9 a.m. to 9:30. Monday. You can show the time zone. Eastern, that's what I want. We'll work in your time. Location. Well, if I put down King William Street, Adelaide. If you looked at this on your phone and you had an appointment and you needed to get there, I'm not too sure about iPhones, but I know with the Android, which is Google phones, you can call up your appointment in your calendar and just hit the navigate to, and up comes your GPS tracking and away you go. So that's a very cool thing. You can add a video call. We'll go into that later, but Google has Hangouts, which is very much like Skype. It's built into our account. I've started using it and it is really cool. This is a way to set up a video conferencing appointment. Okay, now calendar, Linda has the rights to create calendar events in the company calendar. So for Linda here, she can choose which calendar she's going to put it into. Now, most of you won't have that option, but Linda does, so let's put it in there. Okay, we can put a description. Now, you can put web links. So for expos, I've started doing this with Peach Media. For expos, put the URL for the actual event in there, and it saves you having to look up all the time to see what's what and what's where. You can just put the link in there, and then bang, you can click on the link and up comes their website in another tab. Fantastic. Add attachments. If you've got other documents that you want to include in this, that's where you add those. And then you've got all the basic stuff we're all familiar with, pop-up times and stuff like that. Show as busy or available. We'll actually put this as available. Then it won't overlay, it won't interrupt anyone else from putting an appointment in. And you can set that for default. Wouldn't worry too much about this with a company calendar. But if you were sharing your calendar with another person and you had an appointment, but you didn't want that person particularly to know what the appointment was, if you choose private, it'll just let the person that's sharing your calendar, which we had a look at a second ago, it'll let them know that you're doing something, but it won't give any details. If it's set to public, anyone you're sharing with your calendar with, and you have to specify you're sharing it, they can actually go in and see what you're doing, which, both situations work for different scenarios. Okay. If you're going to add anyone to the appointment, you just add them there. And you can give them the opportunity to modify the time and date, to invite others, to see the guest list, all that sort of stuff. So it's a nice very concise little program calendar. I really like it. So I'm going to save that. Okay, so we'll go over to next week, and there it is, another test. Now if I go into my APRS and hit F5 so it refreshes, and there it is. There's the one that Linda's just entered. Okay, so that's how that works. Thank you, Linda. I'll close out now. All right, so I've been rattling on for 15 minutes. I'll wrap this up pretty soon. So that is the beauty of the Google Calendar, is that it will overlay. Now you can see here I've also got Insightly because I'm testing and developing it for you guys at the moment, so I'm having a good hard play with it, and there's one entry there that is Insightly test at APRS. Now I actually put Insightly in that description. If I hadn't have put Insightly, I wouldn't have actually known that's come from Insightly, other than the fact that it's orange, and you can always check to make sure by removing it. Nice and simple. If you've got, and this is for some of our admins, if you've got the ability, if I've assigned you the rights, you can invite others, you can create. If you go to the drop down, display only this calendar, just get through all the others, hide this calendar, calendar settings, create an event. So that's just doing that, but doing it directly. Share the calendar. So you can choose to share it with other people. And even though I found it does say that it's available to anyone in APRS, you do actually have to physically go in there and share it with the staff. So as new staff come on board, Sam, you'll need to actually go in there and just type in their email address and allow them to access it. Reminders and notifications. Yes. There might be more on this later. I've started playing with some of this stuff. It's quite cool. I think I've got all of mine ticked. So basically, if anyone scratches their butt during a calendar event, I know about it, which is handy. That's about it, guys. So along here is all your calendars, and you can turn them off and on as you see fit. Quite wonderful. I'll quickly show you my YBME calendar. God. Okay. And you can start to see how busy some of these calendars can get. Now, I've actually been able to put in the Peach Media key events, and I'll put in the APRS one. So you can actually share these calendars with people outside the organization as well. However, it's very limited access. Even if I wanted to, I'm restricted to adding events and things like that, simply because I don't have the access. I'm not involved in the company, so I really shouldn't be messing with it. But yeah, we haven't put anything in there, so it's a bit of a... But there's other companies have created other ones. That's Xero, our accounting package. They use obviously Gmail as well, and they invited me to share their events. So I can see upcoming Xero events. All very good. And you can see here, that's my contacts. So very handy little system. I'm very happy with Google Calendar, and it's come in very handy. So I'll wrap it up there, guys. As always, if you've got any questions, just give me a holler, give me an email. I should mention as well, I can always team viewer your computer as well. So if you've got specific training you want because you're struggling with something, I can remote your machine, and I can just sit there and watch and talk to you over the phone and just give you advice on what to do and how to do it. I hope you found that useful. Thank you.